So after the response I got to my last video, I figured I would talk about a couple of things in more detail. The response was fantastic. I got some really good comments, and that's the most views I've ever had, which I don't normally care about, but it was nice to see that, more than like 10 people tuned in and possibly got something out of it. I lived a very weird life. You could ask my buddy Ben. He'll tell you I'm weird. But I've got in front of me just a list of topics because I tend to talk too long, which I think gets better with time, as well as being nervous on camera, which I still am, and that's fine. All right. Upcoming adventures and coping with limitations. My plan for a couple of years now was to hop on my touring e-bike and ride out west and just explore the western U.S. and find new work and find a new home and just start a new life. The day I left on that trip, I made it 75 miles, which is good considering the massive hills I had to climb and the weight I was carrying. But my back didn't feel right. Most of the time, my right hip, from the hip down, was sore and numb and tingly, and it just felt weird. And I've had problems with my right knee, and I've had problems with my back, so I canceled my trip on day one. I've been planning it since 2017. So yeah, that was rough. Got a ride back, and just tried to take it easy for a while, try to figure out the next move. Started getting doctor's appointments, start getting things looked at, got my x-rays in, dealt with insurance and all that. Turns out I've got degenerative disc disease in 2 vertebrae in my lower back, as well as bone spurs, both of which will probably need surgery. It got to the point where on 2 occasions I did something as simple as like bending or lifting my leg, and my back went out and it took me to the ground. I had to crawl across the house to get to bed. I could not stand. So I've put most of my physical plans on hold. I've just been going through some recovery. I can still ride, and I still do. I still ride. On days I go out, I end up riding like 20 miles on my e-bike, but I don't plan on doing long rides far away and relying entirely on bicycle travel like I had hoped. That is not going to happen. What do we got on the list? The importance of self-reliance and planning. I'm supposed to just do my list. I've got a quick overview. So I want to talk about the importance of self-reliance and planning, my back injury, switching to an electric recumbent tricycle, switching to motorcycle touring, and then just slowly building up my own business. I don't really want to go into my back injury anymore. It's a lifelong injury. It will probably cripple me at some point if it gets worse. So I have to start planning for that. I can't really bend over anymore. I can't lift anymore. I can't be hunched over. There's a lot I can't really do anymore. And it's fine. I knew this day was coming. To deal with that, though, because I like being on my bike, I want to try to get hold of a recumbent tricycle. 2 wheels in the back, 1 in the front, big basket in the back. I want to make a solar panel roof, like a big glass solar panel as a roof, basically. Put a big strong motor in it, maybe pull a trailer with it. Use that for bicycle touring or just getting around town, grocery runs. And then for long distance travel, I want to get a motorcycle. I'm looking at either a Honda Navi for just scooting around town, but for like $1,000 more, you can get a hold of a used Royal Enfield Himalayan, which is what I really want. The plan would be to load that up with all my gear, maybe make a trailer or a sidecar for it. If I do a sidecar, I could do studded tires and ride through the snow. And go travel on that and make my videos. I have no plans to get another car or truck or anything like that. I don't like them. They're expensive. They're insane to fix. They're ridiculous. So it's going to be a recumbent electric trike and a touring motorcycle, an off-road adventure motorcycle. I want to go to the Baja Peninsula and cut through the desert out to the abandoned beaches. There's usually no one out there. It's gorgeous. As far as building a business, once I get an LLC and everything filed, I'm looking at doing, if I get through all my training, bicycle tour guide training, because I could still do day rides and I could teach people all the survival skills and the bike skills and everything I've got over the years. I've lived on my bike for months on end. Literally, that was my home, was my tent and my bike. It's kind of fun. I prefer it to being around other people. I could also just do bicycle mechanic work, traveling bicycle mechanic, haul some tools out, go to people's garages, get their bike ready for the season if the bike shop's too busy, do some emergency repairs for people on tours or passing through, things like that. Or a bicycle safety instructor. I've done a lot of training with road safety and bike safety, raced BMX, learned how to crash, all of that. I've got some good bike skills I could teach people even if I can't tour. I've got some designs for some small-scale manufacturing equipment, desktop stuff that would automate manufacturing of like printed goods. I've been working on that for a while now. For upcoming adventures, I've got some winter camping coming up, and I've got a new sleeping bag in the mail for that. That should be here tomorrow. It's rated for negative 35 degrees Fahrenheit survival rating. I had one of these before. It's a Teton Sports Mammoth XL, and I loved it. It was so comfy. It's huge and bulky and heavy, but it's $200 instead of like $700 for an ultralight winter bag. My current sleeping bag is rated for 0 Fahrenheit, and it's miserable below like 60. It's pathetic. It's too small. I don't like it. What else we got? Oh yeah, I've been accepted into the Amazon Vine program. So I've been being basically you're given items to review and you get to keep them. So I'll be testing out a bunch of those. I've gotten some cool things like an electric camp shower where you just drop this thing in a bucket and turn it on and it pumps water to a sprayer handle. Just put hot water in a bucket and you got a hot shower. I'll be testing that out this year. I've got a bunch of gear coming. I don't even remember anymore. I'm looking at, if I get a motorcycle, I'll be taking some road trips out of Ohio. I'm getting sick of Ohio. I want to hit Florida, Illinois, South Dakota, Colorado, and then back out to California. I need to scope out New Mexico and Arizona for potential land in the future. And I would like to go to the Earthship Academy out in New Mexico and learn how to build sustainable housing. So a motorcycle and some good camping gear would absolutely let me do that. I want to do some long-term camping, like more than a few days or more than a week at a time. There's a huge difference between a weekend camping trip or an overnighter and living full-time in a tent lifestyle. There's a huge difference. And I don't think people can even begin to understand what it would take to live in a tent year-round full-time. It's rough. There's people that do it all over the world. There's bicycle tours that do it. And one day I would like to make that lifestyle a bit easier for people to get into, because it took me years of research and testing and struggle and freezing to be confident just going out on the road or in the woods and just saying, yep, this is where I'm going to be for a few days or a month. Yeah, I've got some winter camping coming up, probably within the next week. It's been below freezing here in Ohio for quite a long time, so I ordered this huge, gigantic, ridiculous sleeping bag. There's almost nobody camping in the winter around here. They just give up. But I find that the winter camping is usually the most peaceful and comforting. It's cold, but that's just more reason to set up a campfire and just sit by the fire and cook a few meals and call people up, have a phone call, or read a book or articles or watch something. take a nap. It's kind of nice. I've always enjoyed being out in the winter. I don't like being as cold as I have been lately. Past couple of years, I've been cold all the time. I think it was from my past few jobs. But it's a good experience, and I would recommend it. With that, winter camping comes managing gear, winter gear, batteries specifically. I've got this camera here, which has lithium batteries. This audio recorder has currently just alkaline batteries. My laptop down here has a big old lithium battery that would be susceptible to the cold. My e-bike battery, I'm pretty sure it has severe damage already from the cold. I didn't have the heaters hooked up because I couldn't afford the new controllers at the time, and I just haven't gotten around to it. That's on me. So I have to install heaters in the battery to keep it above a certain temperature so I don't damage it in the cold, which consumes a lot of power from the battery. So it might have just enough power to keep the battery warm overnight while I'm sleeping, and then I'll wake up to a dead battery and have to go pedal manually and sit for like 7 hours to recharge it. It's not good. It's a cheap Amazon battery. I need to build a custom battery pack with bigger cells that can charge faster and then get a quick charger, like a very powerful charger. Ultimately, I want to build the ultimate adventure e-bike battery that can take a car charger input, like Tesla charging stations, and let you charge your e-bike battery or your trike battery or whatever electric motorcycle battery in a couple of minutes instead of like 5 hours or like half an hour. That's a project I've got coming up in the next probably year or so. I plan to go through all my gear at some point. I've got too much going on, so I'll just mention some of it. I've got a 3-season tent, not ideal. It's a mountaineering tent, it's good enough. I've got a 3-season insulated sleeping pad. It sucks, it's not wide enough, but it is warm. And then I've got that big sleeping bag coming in. I've got my touring e-bike with my saddlebags, a waterproof backpack, everything's waterproof. And just spare parts and tools for the bike. Some heavy winter clothes. I'm better prepared for cold weather this year than I ever have been. So this should be the least miserable winter of biking that I've ever had. And I finally dug out my GoPro and decided, as much as I hate it, I'm going to use it. It's unreliable, but it does usually work and actually save video. So I'm going to use that whenever I can because it's good picture quality. It's a durable little camera. I think I'm going to have to sleep with my batteries. I think I'm going to have to condense all of my batteries into one bag and then bring my e-bike battery into the tent with me and actually put all of this stuff in the sleeping bag. I should be able to turn on the battery heater when I go to sleep, and it should heat me and the battery, and then once the battery is up to its minimum temp, it should shut off. I'll have to test it. I'll let you guys know. I'm the only one I've ever known that built a custom heater system for an e-bike battery and actually tested it. It worked. It worked last year. I got 70 miles off of it at 32 degrees. Normally at that temperature, a battery would lose significant range. But I didn't lose any range. Well, I'm sure I lost a couple miles just from running the heater, but it was worth it. Oh, what else? So much to say. So much going on. My bike is at 4,870 miles right now since I bought it back in 2022. I think about 10 of those miles were done without a motor installed. So it has been an e-bike for almost 5,000 miles. And it was not meant for what I'm doing with it. It's just a mid-range, it's $1,000 Trek FX3, a hybrid bike, 700C wheels, max width of 38 millimeters, so pretty skinny, short tires. It's not a heavy-duty off-road thing. I've had custom rims built for it, for touring. It breaks spokes all the time. They're always coming loose and creaking. I had to get a special spoke tension meter and spare spokes to keep replacing things. It's not doing great, but considering what I put it through, I'm 230 pounds. That bike weighs probably 120 fully loaded. The bike itself is rated for 350, so we're right at its rated limit, and I push it hard. So the plan is to get a trailer for it, a nice trailer that I can put on the back and put all of the load on 2 more tires on the back, and then it'll just have like if this is the back of the bike, the trailer will have a pulling load instead of a compressing load on the bike. It'll just be pulling at the back of the frame and trying to stretch the frame instead of crushing down on the tires, which is what's causing spoke problems. And it should make the bike a little less sketchy, because with that kind of weight on it, if you like try to swerve, the whole bike it just wants to go over. It's a bit dangerous at times, so I have to ride a lot more carefully and slowly. So I want to get a trailer, and if I get the trailer, I'm going to get a big solar panel, mount it on top, and get a solar charge controller and set it up so I can solar charge my bike while I'm riding. That should help. And then when I get a trike and switch over, I will switch that trailer over, and then I'll have 2 bikes, 2 e-bikes, and I can actually do really long-term rides on the trike. I kind of want to build the frame of the trike myself. I want to build it from scratch. Just either heavy-duty aluminum extruded rails, industrial-like rails, or I'll weld together a steel tube frame. And I want to put a big solar panel roof with insulated walls that would connect so it could drop down and enclose the entire cab. And I want to set it up so that the seat can actually fold down flat into a cot for sleeping. And then when I want to go camping, I can just roll up to a campsite, drop the seat down into a bed, and then throw my sleeping bag on it and drop the walls down and zip them into place or whatever, and just go to bed. Make a tent on top of it. Because having to get off the bike and pull out camping gear and take everything out of waterproof bags and set everything up, it is so tedious. And when you've been out for 12, 13, 14 hours, the last thing you want to do is mess around with tent poles while you're being eaten by mosquitoes. It's pretty annoying at times. So that's the plan with that. I'd like to build a motorcycle trailer camper as well, if I can figure out how to do that safely and legally, and then use that for motorcycle touring. All right, I might as well get on to the final thoughts here. And I'm just looking at a list on my laptop. So I'm still very excited for life, despite my back and my severe physical limitations. I've had some other diagnoses that I don't want to get into, but it is what it is. I mean, it could happen. Anything could happen to anyone. And I've been bummed out about it for a long time, and I'm just going to accept it and move on. I'm tired of being bummed out. Spring will be here soon enough, and I will be camping, and that's good enough for me. My goal is to just always be learning new skills, and it's hard to do that sitting around inside. So I plan to just go out, make videos, learn new skills, figure out what works and what doesn't, share it with people, have some good chats, meet some more bicycle tourists out on the road. There's a lot of them that pass through this city on one of the big trails that cuts through Ohio. I like to sit at the campground and just talk to them. I really want to get better at documenting the things I do. I like to look back and see where I've been and what I've done. It's kind of fun to look back at yourself through a more enlightened lens. So when I go back and look at some of my old pictures of my gear, or if I rewatch a video just to see, what it was about, it's really interesting to see the progress you can make, and it makes me want to make more progress. It's kind of like hey, you really sucked at that. You still really suck at it. You should probably fix that. Or you really sucked at that and you're getting a lot better. Good job. So I'm trying to give myself more credit and document things at the same time. My life is pure chaos right now. I have no idea where all of this is going to end up yet. Videos will be inconsistent, but I'm actively gathering gear. I've got a new light up here. It's like a big half. Sorry. I've got a new light. It's a big half moon light for better lighting. I've got a new camera mount that clamps to my desk. I've got a new microphone arm here that mounts my audio recorder. I got better lighting, better backdrop, maps. I've got some stuff coming. I think the outdoor videos are going to be the nicest, though. There's some nice places I can film around here. I guess the last thing I'll say, since this has probably run on too long anyway, is if anyone has any questions, just ask. Comment. Let me know what you want to know. I will be making more videos. I have done some very weird things and experimented with things in ways they're not meant to be used. I've always done that my whole life. I just try things that make sense. I'll research them and I will just try them. So if anyone wants me to test anything weird, let me know. If you have any questions about my equipment, how it holds up, what I've done with it, recommendations for things, let me know. I'm always happy to help. I won't always have time to answer everything, but I will do my best. My goal in life is to figure out what works, what doesn't, and then share the results. I found that most people aren't willing to experiment with life, and I am. So I'll be the guinea pig, and you guys will benefit from it. I'm mentally and physically tough enough that if I screw something up, I will probably be okay. I mean, I've ridden my bike in South Dakota. It was negative 30 degrees with a wind chill of negative 54, and I rode a bicycle through that. I think I'll be okay. So, any questions, put them down below. Any video suggestions, put them down below. Yeah, I look forward to making more of these videos, especially when I can be outside. I hate being inside. It sucks. It's so boring. Unless it's like a rock climbing gym or an acrobatics gym or something. I don't really want to be outside or inside. But, yep, well, that covers everything on my list, so cheers.